Thank you for joining us. My name is Jaime Huerta, and I am the Senior Division Director of the Federal Program Compliance Division at the Texas Education Agency. Today, our division will be providing you with a general overview of the various federal programs that are administered in our division. Please let us know you are here by capturing the QR code on the screen and responding to the check-in questions. Please select Federal Program Compliance Division General for the event name. Then you will be prompted to enter your first name and last name, your role. There's an optional space for you to provide your email address, and then you would select LEA, ESC, or other. If you're an LEA, you would select your LEA name or type your LEA name to find your name. ESC, select ESC region number. Other, you would enter the name of your organization. We hope that as a participant, you will gain a better understanding of the various federal programs administered in our division and resources that are available for administering such programs. In the Federal Program Compliance Division, we administer the following programs authorized by the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 as amended by the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015. Title I Part A, Improving Basic Programs. Title I Part C, Education of Migratory Children. Title I Part D, Prevention and Intervention for Delinquent, Neglected, and At-Risk Youth. Title II Part A, Supporting Effective Instruction. Title IV Part A, Student Support and Academic Enrichment. Title V Part A, Funding Transferability. Title V Part B, Rural Education Initiative, otherwise known as REAP, and the Rural and Low-Income Schools Program. Title VI, Indian, Native Hawaiian, and Alaska Native Education. Title VII, Impact Aid. Title VIII, Unsafe School Choice Option. Private Nonprofit School Equitable Services, EdFlex, and Supplement Not Supplant. The Federal Program Compliance Division team includes the following team members: Didi Garcia, Lanitra Guess, Idalia Ibanez, Nez Paniagua Jimenez, Gerardo Ramirez, Victoria Rivera, and Vivian Smurl. Our approach is rooted in providing exceptional customer service to the field, which is inclusive of LEA staff, ESC staff, and to the general public. Therefore, we have a division contact sheet that provides you with the team members that can provide you with responses to your questions and/or information related to the various programs administered in our division. You can access this document by visiting our division website or by accessing the link noted at the bottom of this slide. You will now hear from our team members as they provide you with a high-level overview of the various programs administered in our division.
In this section of today's presentation, we will discuss Title I Part A, Improving Basic Programs operated by local education agencies. The Title I Part A program was first authorized under the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965 as part of Lyndon B. Johnson's War on Poverty. It has been reauthorized several times. The current version is the Every Student Succeeds Act of 2015. So you will see references to ESEA as amended, as well as to ESSA. Both are referring to the current version of the statute. The purpose of the Title I Part A program is to provide all children significant opportunity to receive a fair, equitable, and high-quality education and to close educational achievement gaps. There are two types of Title I Part A campus-based programs: school-wide programs and targeted assistance programs. School-wide programs are designed to upgrade the entire education program at a campus, in order to improve the achievement of the lowest achieving students. Campuses that operate a school-wide program are generally for campuses where at least 40% of the students are from low-income families. All students on school-wide campuses are eligible to receive services. Initially, school-wide campuses undergo a one-year planning process that includes a comprehensive needs assessment, the development of a school-wide campus program plan, and the creation of an evaluation of program effectiveness. These elements are reviewed and revised each year as necessary to ensure continuous improvement. Targeted assistance campuses have a low income percentage of at least 35%, or equal to or greater than the LEA's low income percentage. The campus is usually either ineligible for or chose not to operate a school-wide program. Not all students on a targeted assistance campus can receive Title I Part A services. Targeted assistance programs provide Title I Part A services only to eligible children who have been identified as having the greatest need for special assistance. Both school-wide and targeted assistance programs are required to implement specific parent and family engagement requirements, including LEA and campus parent and family engagement policies. There are a variety of online resources available to assist with implementing the Title I Part A program requirements, including the Title I Part A program guide, an extensive frequently asked questions document, and use of funds guidance. There are also on-demand video trainings available to assist with Title I Part A campus eligibility, campus allocations, and the supplement not supplant requirement.
Hello, my name is Idalia Ibanez, and I will be providing you with a brief overview of the Title I Part C, also known as Migrant Education Program, or MIP. According to ESSA Section 1301, the general purpose of the MIP is to assist states in supporting high-quality and comprehensive educational programs and services, to ensure that migratory children who move among the states are not penalized in any manner by disparities among the states, to ensure that migratory children receive full and appropriate opportunities to meet the same challenging state academic standards that all children are expected to meet, to design programs to help migratory children overcome educational disruption, cultural and language barriers, social isolation, various health-related problems, and other factors that inhibit the ability of such children to succeed in school, and to ensure that migratory children benefit from state and local systemic reforms. Now let's talk about eligibility for the Migrant Education Program. Eligibility is the first step needed to begin the process of serving the migratory children. Once a child is identified as possibly migratory, then a determination of eligibility for the Migrant Education Program must be made. Making this determination requires the usual steps in any type of investigation, determining the who, when, why, and what. First of all, who is a migratory child? To make this determination, staff at the LEA, known as recruiters or reviewers, must do the following to determine eligibility. They must determine, is the child under the age of 22? Children between ages 3 and 21 may be eligible for the MIP. Is the child lacking a U.S. issued high school diploma or certificate of high school equivalency? Once they have graduated or obtained a certificate of high school equivalency, they do not qualify for the program. Is the child or does the child have a parent, guardian, or spouse who is a migratory agricultural worker or migratory fisher? Did the child move on his or her own as a migratory agricultural worker or migratory fisher, or move to accompany or join a parent, spouse, or guardian who is a migratory agricultural worker or migratory fisher within the preceding 36 months? The child or children have 36 months of eligibility from the last qualifying move. Did the family move due to economic necessity? This is a key question. What is the qualifying seasonal employment or temporary employment in agricultural or fishing work? Now here's some data about the Texas Migrant Education Program at a glance. The largest concentration of Texas migratory family, that is approximately 55% of the Texas migratory student population, reside in Region 1, the Rio Grande Valley. Large concentrations of migratory families also resided in Eagle Pass, San Felipe del Rio, El Paso, Amarillo, and Brownfield regions of the state. The top portion of this chart shows the profile of the state. I want to direct you to the data on the Migrant Education Program. As you can see, in 2022-2023, which is the latest complete data we have gathered, there were 380 project LEAs. Those are the local education agencies that applied and received the Title I Part C funds. Of those, 75 applied on their own and ran their own migrant education program. 305 participated in a shared service agreement with an ESC. There were 16 fiscal agents. Now let's look at the numbers of MEP eligible students. First, we'll look at Category 1. Category 1 are students between the ages 3 through 21 that were eligible during the performance period, which runs from September 1st through August 31st. We had 19,761 students in Category 1 for 22-23, a decrease from the 20,809 in 21-22. Now let's look at Category 2. These are the students counted and served one or more days in a MEP-funded summer or intersession program during the performance period. Here you can see 3,527 students in Category 2, an increase of 6.2% from 21-22. Then you see out-of-school youth. For the purposes of the MEP, an out-of-school youth is a high school age youth under the age of 22 who is entitled to free public education in the state, who meets the definition of a migratory child, but who is not currently enrolled in a K-12 school. This includes students who have dropped out of school, youth who are here to work or are working on a high school equivalency program. And as you can see, in 21-22, which is the latest data we had 431 eligible out-of-school youth, 219 eligible and enrolled in the MEP, and 9 eligible and enrolled in the summer MEP. Thank you.
Now, let's discuss the Title I Part D prevention and intervention programs for children and youth who are neglected, delinquent, or at risk. The Title I Part D is composed of 3 subparts. Subparts 1 and 2 establish the prevention and intervention programs for children who are neglected, delinquent, or at risk. This law provides supplemental funding to state and local education agencies as part of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, as amended by the Every Student Succeeds Act. Subpart 3 establishes program evaluations that must be conducted for any programs under Subpart 1 and 2. These funds are dedicated to improving educational services to children in facilities for the neglected or delinquent. The goal is to enable program recipients to meet the same student performance standards that all children in the state are expected to meet. Improve academic performance will facilitate the transition of students from correctional programs to further education or employment. The Department of Grant Compliance and Administration at the Texas Education Agency administers 2 formula programs under this law. Title I Part D Subpart 1, State Agencies, Wingham School District, and Texas Juvenile Justice Department, and Title I Part D Subpart 2, which are local education agencies. Always remember that Subpart 1 funds are meant for state agency programs, while Subpart 2 funds are meant for local education agencies. There are 3 purposes for the Title I Part D Subpart 2 program. The funds must be used to carry out high-quality education programs to prepare children and youth for secondary school completion, training, employment, or further education. To provide activities to facilitate the transition of such children and youth from the correctional program to further education or employment, and to operate programs in local schools, including schools operated or funded by the Bureau of Indian Education, for children and youth returning from correctional facilities, and programs which may serve at-risk children and youth. Now let's take a look at the Title II Part A, Supporting Effective Instruction. The purpose of the Title II Part A is to provide grants to state education agencies and subgrants to local education agencies to increase student achievement consistent with the challenging state academic standards, improve the quality and effectiveness of teachers, principals, and other school leaders, increase the number of teachers, principals, and other school leaders who are effective in improving student academic achievement in schools, and provide low-income and minority students greater access to effective teachers, principals, and other school leaders. The intent of Title II Part A is to support educators in their work, to improve the overall quality of instruction, and to ensure equity of education opportunity for all students. Title II Part A has 3 areas of focus in which all activities should fall on. The first is to recruit, support, and retain effective teachers and principals. The second is professional development and growth. And the third is other evidence-based activities. Thank you so much for your time and attention. If you have any questions, please reach out at the contact information on your screen.
This is the Title IV Part A, Subpart 1 Program Summary. These are the program intent and purposes for the Title IV Part A program and activities. First, to provide students with access to well-rounded education opportunities, to improve school conditions for safe and healthy student learning, and to improve technology in order to enhance academic outcomes and digital literacy of students. TEA provides grants to the Education Service Centers in the local regions. It is the ESSA Basic Services Initiative grant and it has a Title IV Part A component where the ESCs are to provide resources, training, and tools to their local districts. As you can see on the slide, the Title IV Part A training is a requirement, and there are 3 areas in which an ESC must support an LEA, and that is over the 3 content areas of Title IV, the comprehensive needs assessment that is specifically for the Title IV Part A program, and providing Title IV Part A private school equitable services as an LEA. In addition, the ESC must also provide technical assistance and support for Title IV Part A under the areas below, such as compliance requirements, the LEA ESA Consolidated Grant Application, LEA Random Validations or Desktop Audits, Persistently Dangerous Schools, Use of Funds, etc. In addition, the ESC also provides information to LEAs that are related to Title IV Part A programs. If you would like to find additional answers and tools and resources to the Title IV Part A program questions, you may click on any of these links to receive more information. The first 2 links on the left, the TEA Federal Program Compliance and the TEA Title IV Part A, are 2 web pages, and it will take you directly to our division web page as well as our Title IV Part A program web page. You may also view a program overview for Title IV Part A as a webinar. And then I have created the Title IV Part A program guide, frequently asked questions, and a use of funds criteria document that may be downloaded. If you would like to see more on the ESA Consolidated Plan Application Program Guidelines and the program-specific ESA provisions and assurances, you may click on those links which take you to the TEA Grant Opportunities webpage. And once you're there, you may select the current year to be able to see the current program guidelines and assurances for the Title IV Part A program. In addition, there is a link for the Collaborative Comprehensive Needs Assessment Toolkit. That link provides specific information related to the Title IV Part A program on required stakeholders, the comprehensive needs assessment requirements, resources, LEA tools, and resources. And so you may go to any of these places in order to find more information about Title IV Part A. If you would like to review some of the U.S. Department of Ed resources that relate to Title IV Part A, I have listed some on the slide. You can see the USDE Office of Elementary and Secondary Education Safe and Supportive Schools webpage. And then you can also view the Title IV Part A statute that the U.S. Department of Ed has put out. There is the U.S. Department of Ed non-regulatory guidance. That is a great guidance that is listed as a Q&A all the way through on all things related to Title IV. And then there is the National Center on Safe, Supportive Learning Environments that is supported with Title IV Part A resources in the U.S. Department of Ed. And then there is a website that I also added, which is the USDE National School Safety. And so there are just a few of those resources that are federal resources and tools that you may also view for assistance. Additional questions regarding the Title IV Part A program, feel free to contact me, Lenitra Guest, Program Director of the Title IV Part A program. I'm also the private nonprofit ombudsman that works with equitable services for all programs. You may reach me by phone or email. Thank you and have a wonderful day. This is the Title I Part A Newbie Statewide Series. And this section is the Private Nonprofit, or PNP, Equitable Services Program Summary. For a private nonprofit school to be possibly eligible to receive equitable services through an LEA's public schools, it must first meet both the nonprofit and non-public definitions. The nonprofit definition is an agency, organization, or institution owned and operated by one or more corporations or associations whose net earnings do not benefit and cannot lawfully benefit any private shareholder or entity. The private school must also meet the non-public definition that is in the Code of Federal Regulations, and that is defined as an agency, organization, or institution that is nonprofit and not under federal or public supervision or control. Private nonprofit schools may be eligible for Title I Part A equitable services on a targeted student basis. The school-wide Title I Part A programs are not allowed for PNP schools. All students served must be eligible, and it would be a program based on targeted Title I eligible students. The private schools may also be eligible for any of the Title VIII programs listed below: Title I Part C Migrant, Title II Part A, Title III Part A English Learners and Immigrants, Title IV Part A, and Title IV Part B, which is a competitive 21st century grant. As you can see, the ESA statutes are listed, so if you'd like further information, you may go there. Services must meet and supplement educational needs for eligible private nonprofit students. It must be secular, neutral, and non-ideological for all educational services, materials, and equipment that the LEA purchases for PNP use during the school year. It must also provide equitable educational services that are comparable to the private school and be provided in a timely manner. In addition, equitable services must be monitored and enforced by the PNP Ombudsman. The Ombudsman oversees the state monitoring process and procedures, collaborates with state fiscal and federal program compliance reviews and processes, consults with private nonprofit organizations, participates in Title I Part A Committee of Practitioners meetings, collaborate and coordinate resources with the Texas Private School Accreditation Commission, known as TEPSAC, and also addresses informal and formal complaints. Or a few PNP resources. First, there is the Education Service Centers that receive a grant under the ESA Basic Services Initiatives, and they provide LEA support in these particular areas and technical assistance for LEAs. That is the LEA's PNP equitable service requirements for both Title I Part A and those programs listed under Title VIII. They also provide training and technical assistance for LEAs under the ESA Consolidated Grant Application PS 3099, which is the private school schedule within the application, and the PR 3099 schedule, which is the schedule under the ESA Consolidated Compliance Report for LEAs. In addition, the ESCs provide LEAs training and technical assistance and guidance regarding the LEA PNP Equitable Services random validations. And as you can see, here are a list or a map of those ESC services that are available throughout the state. There are a few web resources on the TEA webpage, which is the very first bullet point, the PMP Equitable Services. And then you may also see resources under the Federal Program Compliance Random Validation Monitoring and the Federal Fiscal Monitoring website. In addition, the Region 20 receives a grant, which is the statewide ESA Title I Part A Capacity Building Initiative. And under that initiative, they also provide support and resources and tools for LEAs serving private nonprofit schools. You may also want to view some of the U.S. Department of Ed resources that are online, and I have listed the first two are the latest USDE guidance on equitable services. First, for the Title I Part A program, and the second bullet is for all of those programs that fall under the Title VIII Part F, ESEA, for equitable services. Those are the latest two guidances from the U.S. Department of Ed. They are in Q&A format. It is a great guidance if you're trying to learn what is acceptable and allowable, what are the requirements for each of those programs according to USDE when the LEA is serving the private school with equitable services. You would want to check out those guidances. And then there's also the Office of Non-Public Education's website. And then I've also highlighted the statute for both ESSA Title I Part A and the Title VIII, participation by private school children and teachers. If you have additional questions following this webinar, you may contact me, Lenitra Guest. I am the Private Nonprofit Ombudsman, as well as the Title IV Part A Program Director. Feel free to contact me by phone or email. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Hello, my name is Nes Paniagua, and I will be providing an overview of Title V Part B Rural and Low-Income School Program, or RLIS. Let's begin this overview by looking at the program description and purpose. So ESSA Title V Part B Subpart 2, or RLIS, provides rural LEAs with financial assistance to meet the local academic needs. Additionally, it provides greater flexibility in the use of limited federal resources. It's important to know that applicants do not compete for these funds. Applicants are entitled to these funds if they meet basic eligibility requirements. Awards are issued annually directly to the LEAs on a formula basis, and these awards are administered by the Texas Education Agency. Use of funds. According to Section 5222, local awards, the grant funds are awarded to local education agencies under this subpart should be used for any of the following programs: activities authorized under Part A of Title I, activities authorized under Part A of Title II, activities authorized under Title III, activities authorized under Part A of Title IV, and parental involvement activities. The last one, parental involvement activities, is unique to RLIS. Now let's take a look at the goals and measurable objectives. The LEAs are required to use the applicable funding to carry out local activities authorized under the specified programs to increase academic achievement and/or decrease the dropout rate. Now let's take a look at eligibility. Eligibility is determined by USDE based on specific data submitted by TEA. An LEA is eligible to participate in RLIS if they meet two criteria. They're designated as rural. What does that mean? All schools served by the LEA are designated with a school local code of 32, 33, 41, 42, or 43, as determined by the Secretary of Education, or the LEA is located in an area defined as rural by the state. We obtain this information through the U.S. Census and the National Center of Education Statistics, or NCES. And they also had to be low income. That means that 20% or more of the children ages 5 through 17 served by the LEA must be from families with low income, with incomes below the poverty line, as determined by SAPI, or the Small Area and Income Estimates Program using census data. It's important to know that low income rates used for RLIS eligibility purposes is not the free and reduced lunch rates or the economically disadvantaged rates reported by LEAs to TEA.
The next section we will cover is the Education Flexibility Program, or EdFlex. The EdFlex program can only provide flexibility for the covered programs defined in statute. The covered programs are Title I Part A, Title I Part C, Title I Part D, Title II Part A, and Title IV Part A of the Every Student Succeeds Act, as well as the Perkins program. The EdFlex statute has a list of provisions that cannot be waived. These include maintenance of effort, comparability of services, equitable participation of students and professional staff in private schools, parental participation and involvement, distribution of funds to states or local education agencies, serving eligible school attendance areas in rank order under Section 1113A3, selection of a school under Section 1113, but an exception for this is allowed if the school is not less than 10 percentage points below the poverty percentage of a campus that meets the eligibility requirements. Use of federal funds to supplement, not supplant, non-federal funds, or applicable civil rights requirements. In Texas, we have three types of EdFlex waivers that can benefit local education agencies. Statewide administrative waivers, which are granted at the state level for all LEAs in an attempt to reduce administrative paperwork. Statewide programmatic waivers, which are granted to individual LEAs. These include a school-wide eligibility waiver that allows an eligible Title I Part A campus with less than 40% poverty to operate as a school-wide program, as well as a waiver that allows an LEA that has already used the statutory waiver to carry over more than 15% of its Title I Part A entitlement into the next school year. And individual programmatic waivers that may be granted to LEAs that apply for relief from a particular statutory requirement that is not on the list of items that cannot be waived, but that is preventing the LEA from implementing an effective program. A separate application for an individual programmatic waiver is available on the website for the LEA to complete.
We will now provide you with information on how to access various resources available to assist you with implementing federal programs. Our division's webpage includes links to web pages for all the programs administered within our division. Most program pages also include a wealth of resources that are program specific. For example, program guides, frequently asked questions documents, and use of funds reference documents. Our website serves as your one-stop shop for program-specific resources. Please check them out. We are also excited about having published a federal programs planner. The planner provides a detailed monthly program-specific list of tasks associated with each of the programs and space for planning. You can access this resource by clicking on the link in your handouts for this resource. We know that the 24-25 ESSA Consolidated Federal Grant application is also live and available for LEAs to complete and ESCs, and therefore we've compiled all the instructions documents for the application in one place. You can access the links by clicking on the slides shared along with this training. So this concludes the formal part of the training. Please provide us with your feedback about this training by capturing the QR code and responding to the feedback questions. Please select Federal Program Compliance Division General for the event name. Thank you for all you do for the students and families you serve every day. You truly make a difference. This concludes the training. Please reach out if you have any questions or if we can be of further assistance. Thank you and have a great day.